All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Real Stocks. Market opens in about 5 minutes. Got the NASDAQ rallying a little bit, which is, you just can't argue with this market. It's doing great things every single day. All right, so NASDAQ's moving up this morning. Let's check about the ES, which is the S&P 500, also moving up about 1/3%. And Russell, I don't think that's futures, but I'm not sure what the Russell futures are. Russell futures? Australian dollar futures, cotton, you mean a euro? Huh, anyway. I was curious about that, never able to figure it out. All right, check on some IBD stuff. So they were referring to a cannabis stock moving this morning and futures rises. Boeing reverses higher. Boeing won't stay down for very long. More than likely that is two massive down days in a row. Now keep in mind this thing has been, look at this uptrend, it's been since 2016. So basically almost 2.5 years now, it's rallied from 134 to $446. So you're basically up 300%, I guess 200%. And so definitely some profit taking up there. But definitely could come back as well. Let's take a look at the weekly on that one. Looks like it's pulling back down to the breakout point. So that could be a decent place to try to take a position for a little while with maybe a 5% or so stop loss on Boeing. That wouldn't be too bad with a 20% run up to all-time highs. But I can't assume that would happen immediately. Probably take a few weeks, months to do that. Trump steps into Boeing crisis as more sales are at risk. Lion Air plans to cancel Boeing orders and switch to Airbus. Wow. Yeah, Trump tweeted planes are too complex to fly. What the hell? The hell is he talking about? That guy's scary and funny at the same time. Wow. Lion Air is a 200 plane order. That's amazing. That's a huge order. It may buy, okay, so another one may buy another Boeing airliner, the 787 Dreamliner instead of the MAX. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. Usually not a situation I like to get super heavily involved in. That's more of a gamble. You never quite know what's going to happen, but Boeing has been an extraordinarily strong stock, along with the entire NASDAQ index. IBD stock, this medical stock jumps above a key moving average. Talking about Penn. Don't think I have Penn. Oh, come on, keyboard. There we go, Penn. Jumping above the 50-day. All right, looks like this stock in a definitely downward trending channel. Looks like a double bottom base right here. Your buy point would be over this middle point at about 160.75. And jumping back above the 50-day moving, looks like all the moving averages are in the same place at the same time. So that is good for Penn. Hey, what's up, Eli? Um, I just said market is bullish. Who's saying market's bearish? Those people are crazy. This pen one's a little bit interesting, though. Not too bad. Yeah, I don't know what people are saying bearish. It makes no sense. I mean, look at this uptrend. It's kind of hard to argue with that. All right, NBEV up 2%, MJ up almost 2%. ACB, I knew it was fucking ACB. The one I was looking at ACB for a while. And I took NBEV instead. And ACB runs 8%. Welcome to trading stocks. All right, so NBEV jumping above the trend line a little bit right there. Starting the day off with a sell. SIVB, Lilly up here, EDU. This did not maintain what I did yesterday to this chart. You're an ACB, very nice. See if it maintained my watch list I made the other day. Okay, well, it kept actionable list. That's good at least. Can I move that higher? Oh, there we go. Oh, that's it. Send above? Oh, come on, man. Anyway. Go away. Go away. Go away. Alright, so that's my actionable list. Also not keeping... I'm having such hard times these days. I did all this yesterday. Psh, stupid. As NBEV sells off, ACB continues higher. No, that's not the right one. Not percent in the money. Percent change. There we go. All right, ACB up 11. Getting on with that program. And Chesapeake Energy up 2. Getting on with its program. EDU, STNE. There's NBEV. All right, hopefully getting some kind of reprieve from the selling right there. What's MJ doing? MJ coming back pretty good. And I'm not sure what the news in ACB was. Let's check it out. Oh, do they have earnings? No, that's not earnings. I already own MJ. I was just mulling over ACB or NBEV. Taps Nelson Peltz as advisor in strategic expansion. Yeah, ACB's had a couple, has quite a bit of good news lately. I don't know, I think I'd have to, yeah, whatever. Good part about the U.S., the next president's not that far away, no matter what side you're on. All right, NBEV, ACB doing good here. What else is working? INS just phenomenal the past couple of days. I mean, reported earnings and still higher. Stalled at 26, based and just rocketed higher. Hello? So INS up here, definitely extended to get involved. But, I mean, just tremendous rally from that breakout right there. Looks like Lumber Liquidators up a little bit today. After a weird day yesterday. There's a huge sell-off yesterday. What else? Chesapeake, Melly, MJ, InBev, chilling up here. NVIDIA is an interesting one as they jostle, so I can't click on things. NVIDIA looking pretty good down here. This is kind of one of those turnaround plays. You've got your 50-day moving average here, crossing above it, closing above it for a few days now. 200 period moving average way up here. So lots of room for this one to run 20+%. Maybe just up to $200 in time, something like that. That could be pretty good for NVIDIA. After they bought Mellanox yesterday, which I thought was pretty cool. I have ACB in here twice? ABC. No, that's ABC. I was going to say, that's odd. All right, Carvana continuing to work yesterday with a little bit of stalling, but a green day nonetheless. And then coming back today, we'll see if this gets some more stalling today. This has basically been in a frozen rope pattern for a while. Just continually. Not really. Hard to draw these frozen ropes early on, and especially when your tools drop your line. What the what are you, timeout? Timeout on drawing my frozen rope. So there's Carvana, kind of frozen rope pattern, been in that for a little bit. NBEV coming back 2.13%. MJ up 2%. That's a good day for MJ. Cron's up 2% as well. But MJ being up 2% is pretty good. You know that's having a good day. And that's setting up nicely. Hopefully a nice little breakout here. Go back and test that 45 level. Nice green volume on the right side here. Really liking the looks of MJ. It's just doing great stuff. Lumber Liquidators 2% so far. All right, so what's on my list here? I have VMW here from yesterday as well. Definitely nice little good day yesterday. What else have we had here recently? I had Starbucks, which I've gotten out of. AMRN. AMRN looking pretty good here too. Big gap up, large cup and handle type of a pattern. Your buy point would be here over, excuse me, over this 2340, 2350 level. More rain in Arizona, man. We've had a good winter. If this can break out of this little flat consolidation in some way, that could give you an early entry point into AMRN. The right side of this cup, though, not with a tremendous amount of volume, unfortunately. But you just kind of have to deal with what it is. STNE is something we've been looking into. This is a recent IPO. Came out here, looks like October. And great volume on the right side of this particular base. Very large cup. Going to form a high handle here, it looks like. And so far kind of in pullback mode with earnings coming up here pretty soon. Going to be a little difficult to get into. Maybe play that with some options. Just due to the volatility. I mean, the thing could gap down and go back to 25, which would be just brutal from here. 21%. Stone does have some options. So if you did want to play it for a breakout of that, STNE, let me check it on IBD. Definitely try to limit your exposure. 98 composite rating, 93 relative strength rating. So both numbers well into the 90s. And this is a Brazilian company, provides financial technology solutions for merchants and integrated partners. So they're PayPal with 700% EPS growth. Which is why they look so good. Only 8% off of recent highs. No change in funds owning stock. That seems strange. You go to FinViz, maybe they'll give a different interpretation. Sometimes IBD, when it gives you an NA, some data is incomplete. $8.5 billion market cap. Forward PE is 40. Current PE is 168. Sounds like Amazon. Institutional transactions are up 87%. So that's good. Institutional ownership is 81%. Shares float only 92 million shares out of 268. So that's amazing. Short float 12%. That could get things going. What else? Yeah, EPS next year 152, next 5 years 40%, sales or 164%. I mean, this thing is just off the charts in terms of numbers. So 3,000 employees, cool. 30 cents cash per share, that's good. So anyway, Stone with earnings coming up. It looks good. I really like the accumulation. It's excellent. It's really, really good. ACB continuing up 14% already with amazing volume. This is going to be a huge volume day, very similar to one of these days probably. It's already up here. We're 21 minutes into the day. I'm sorry, 11 minutes into the day. And we already have above average volume at ACB. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy. That's excellent. I don't know, I may just have to buy a little bit, even though it's pretty well extended at this stage of the game. Yeah, Melly's up pretty big. Yeah, so there's a large pennant we kind of drew here. Also on earnings gapping up huge. This one rallied up, 11%, ended up about 22%. Yeah, once the stock gets to between 20 and 30%, they tend not to go up any more than that. We saw that yesterday when stock was opened up like 30%, and it just kind of pegged itself up there, which is fine. Don't mind it pegging itself up there, but I bet you ACB options are really expensive today. Yeah, it's probably, I don't know, may not even be worth it. Going back up to 12. I think I had ACB on here. I did have ACB on here. It's a 264% gain for going to June. I think 12 was the target too. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, not too bad. Go up 35%, 150% gain. That's pretty good. Tesla's up 1% today. VMW 1.2. Is that on my short list here? Not really on my short list. Trade desk pulling back a little bit. That's good. Maybe get an entry on that. Maybe. Emphasize the word maybe. I don't understand why I have to do that like that. Okay. Yeah, the problem is I'm already pretty heavy MJ stocks. All right, WLL, Whiting Petroleum. Looks like bouncing off of some low levels. We've got Holly here. Looks like trying to... Okay, so bouncing here off of what I believe is the 50-day. I'm going to have to edit my studies to really figure that out if I'm going to trade within the moving averages there. Yeah, Melly getting on with the program. Auto Home. Right here with a small cup and handle. And your buy point on the weekly chart would be at 94.33, which isn't too far away, right about there. After earnings, so that's good. And we'll see if we can get some volume to get going. It's got quite a bit of volume down here. That's a high volume down day. Could be a bottom. It reversed pretty hard here. Opened lower. They gapped it lower. It never looked back. But I don't like those lower volume up days. We'll see how that one plays out. INS pulling back after earnings. I think that's to be expected a little bit. GNC, CGC. This has been on my short list for a while. I took one trade in it. Maybe time to try another trade. See if it wants to finally break out of this consolidation. It's down here on my short list. I'm making an actionable list again. We had something like this before. HCC, CHK. You're up, but you're kind of chopping around. Momo coming up to a trend line here. We'll see if that can... Quite a bit of volume yesterday in Momo. MMNFF up here. PayPal. Slowly making new highs. That's good. So ZS. Fortinet. Beautiful cup with handle. And you have another buy point here. Maybe an early buy point. It's hard to tell exactly where. I guess right now. If you think that's a trend line, it's a pretty loose one. But it does line up with those three. Technically could be considered a trend line. Volume here isn't spectacular, but it doesn't really need to be at this stage of the game. Actually, let's see. Fortnite could be a good little trade right here. Maybe just going back up here to the 87.50 level. A 30% going out 36 days. That's not too bad. I'll write that one down. All right, HCC. Baidu looks like on the 5-minute here kind of trying to break a high from yesterday after making a series of higher lows here. You can see this is one that looks pretty decent for one of those turnaround plays. 50-day moving average, and then possibly getting back up to that 200-day moving average, giving you a nice 17% gain in Baidu. Potentially they're holding a low, holding a low, holding a low, double bottoming right there. We'll see if they can get above that trend line. That could be an interesting entry point for Baidu. Seeing a decent amount of volume down here too. I have a feeling I've seen this trade before. Oh, that's pretty good. If I can get back to 200, let's do 190. All right, just put that on watch. Come back to that. No pullback in TTD quite yet. Still just kind of hanging out. Morning, Lori. Just really a failure to sell on TTD. Man, these leading stocks, you got to get them and get them quick. Crunchy. ANET. What's ANET up to? Inverted head and shoulders right there. Talked about a target that's obviously been eclipsed. Take that off the chart. And trying to break out currently into new highs. Is that a 3 weeks tight consolidation? Definitely not. Definitely not a 3 weeks tight. MEDP. HCC, man, this thing has looked good for a long time. Hasn't moved yet. Patience may be our friend here. Although I don't know what the heck coal has to do with anything. Composite rate is 77. 88 for relative strength, which is pretty good. But no distribution for the past little while there. Hard to say exactly when it's going to run. Eight other stocks added to IBD watch list about 3 weeks ago. I'm assuming one of them is HCC. IPO leaders, stocks, and related analysis. Warrior Coal. View all IPO leaders and IPO leaders and related analysis. Okay. Another IPO stock, Stone, which we've covered here, sort of a deep cut base on Monday, but shares came tumbling down Wednesday and Thursday. And they don't mention much about HCC, but it looks like I don't see HCC on this. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so HCC still on watch here. It's just this has been brutal, going nowhere for a very long time. Let's see how deep this entire base is. 3165. 33%. So really big, kind of choppy cut base, if you will. You can almost call it a really big channel. The best thing you can hope here is a huge channel breakout, or at least a channel breakout that continues. ENIA, let's take a look. I like new stocks. ENIA definitely in a perpetual downtrend on the weekly, double bottom here. I'm not really interested. It's had quite a bit of accumulation actually, and then a big down earnings coming back. Doesn't state what earnings were. Oh, opinions. Okay. I actually don't hate it. It looks bad, but this volume after the earnings, I mean, it went down a little bit, but with the amount of volume stepping in here and curling right back, not too bad. Not something I would jump in, not my personal cup of tea, to be honest with you. I like things that are structured a little better. That really has no structure to it. This one also way down in the dumps, not something I usually participate in. Does kind of look like one of those turnaround plays though, in terms of it's under the 200, the 50, and the 10 were moving down. It made some lows. It's popped over above the 50-day moving average here. The target of this is only the 200-day moving average for this strategy, so not so sure. There's a really great risk reward here. You got about you have basically less than a 1 risk reward. It'd be like a 0.7 or something risk reward ratio. But if you want to give it, I guess, down to this 5.5% level in terms of a stop, I'd say this looks better than the other one. The problem with a lot of these, and I'm still struggling with this, is, how long do you give these to go back up, these turnaround plays? You really have to find an edge of some kind to really, to really have an edge here. I think Nvidia probably is a little better if you're looking for those turnaround plays. It's starting to overtake this level a little bit here on Nvidia. Yeah, I'd say out of those two, I would consider Zio a little bit better. ENIA has decent volume. I'm just not really, the chart doesn't speak to me that well. Got to be honest. So Nvidia looking pretty good here. USM. Let's take a look at USM. I just bought Nvidia. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of this one either. That new strategy that I've been looking for does look for turnarounds, and what it requires is the 200-day to be over the 50-day, and the 50-day to be over the 20-day, and the 20-day to be over the 8-day EMA, and then it's looking for a bounce back above the 50 and after some sideways action. So slightly different scenario. These are just stocks that are down. If you're looking for a pullback buy off the 200-day, if you've got a strategy based around that, this would be good for that. I don't have that particular kind of a strategy. In this scenario, your trade probably would be a bounce up to the 50-day, in my opinion, for this particular type of a setup. Because what you have here, what you're looking at when you're looking at, let's just take Nvidia, and we'll come back to USM. If you're looking at Nvidia, what you have here is the 200-day above, meaning something more egregious has happened. The 50-day undercut the 200-day. In this case, I just have the 10-day moving average. That's undercut. They're all in a downtrend, and then it starts to flatten out, and then the 50-day gets broken, and then your target's the 200-day. In your scenario with USM, you're looking for a bounce play. It's a little bit of a different scenario. In this one, you've broken the 50-day moving average. Now, I don't like to play anything where the 50-day breaks like that. The 50-day breaking on extraordinarily high volume is not a bullish pattern. So what you'd be looking for here at most is a bounce up to that 50-day moving average, in my opinion. So this would be a 200-day bounce, which, I'm sure there's strategies out there for this. Maybe there's other criteria that go into that strategy. But so it kind of bounces up, And then, like I said, I think you would probably try to take this here to wherever the 50-day would catch you, maybe right there at about 51.89, something like that. You'd be looking to exit at that 50-day. If it even gets up there, some of these that have huge drops like this don't quite get that high and then roll over. I think that's one of the reasons why. I think that's one of the main differences, I should say, between a strategy like the 50-day gets overtaken and you're under the 50-day. Something about the 50-day moving average, institutions just, I don't know, they seem to like it a lot. I think if I go back to NVIDIA talking about the 50-day moving average, I think it cut through them both really quickly, obviously right there. And that one didn't bounce at all and hasn't even touched the 50-day since it crossed it. And that's what I'm saying. This could end up something like that where it never quite gets back to the 50-day. Long-term deal with Nokia. Okay. Well, sometimes you got to enter pretty quick, especially in these turnaround things that you're looking at. You got to do it, or you do it or you don't. Because by the time it's obvious, it's too late most of the time. That's the problem. NBEV going back into negative territory. I better not get much lower. Looks like you got a trend line you're trying to find some strength on here. All right, ACB still holding up okay. Whiting Petroleum, UUU, INS. Looks like MJ giving up some. NVIDIA Match.com. Been looking at Match lately. Similar pattern to NBEV, just kind of a smaller channel. No major volumes here though in either of these. That's been kind of a problem with both of these, is the lack of volume. Looks like SIVB bouncing back a little bit here. Nothing tremendous though. Stop on NVIDIA. I was actually going to manage this trade real quick. So my stop on NVIDIA would probably be undercutting the 50-day moving average here. So about 150, which is pretty deep at this stage of the game. I'm a little extended in this. I should have entered the other day. I was looking at it over here. That's what I'm saying. You have to jump on these quick. You either believe it or you don't. And I fudged a few entries, and I'm trying to work on being quicker. And this is one of those where I would have had to have a little bit more conviction. That's when the Mellanox news came out. It was a couple days ago, so I should have jumped on that one a little faster. But yeah, so your stop would have to be down here as it undercuts the 50-day, or just barring some weird action that I don't like, or unless I get over like 20 or 30% profitability, I'll have basically a trailing stop at that point. Or I may just take profits if I'm up over 20% at some point in time. Looks like NBEV bouncing back a little bit here. Playing with my emotions, NBEV. And volume going to be lighter than yesterday, it looks like. What's the NASDAQ doing? Good, up a 0.5%. Just getting on with the program. Nothing wrong here at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't talk about this yesterday, but The day before, on this day, look at that. Everyone, thought we were going to go back into a bear market or something, and then we rallied all the way back and closed into yearly highs. That's a year high close. We spiked higher in the morning of 3.4, but here on 3.11 we closed higher and haven't looked back since. So pretty good stuff on the Nasdaq. Definitely happy having half of my account in that TQQQ position. Definitely enjoying that. Giving me a little bit of stability as I play around with my general options trades. Excuse me. What the hell? Welcome, customer. That's awesome. Eli, you'll get a kick out of this. On my E-Trade, it just says welcome, comma, customer. Shouldn't it say my name? That's hilarious. I think that's really funny. Let's try to be personal and say welcome, customer. Thanks. Very, very well aware that I'm a customer. It's great. Rothethra. Oh, my account beneficiaries need to be updated. What's going on here? When did I do this? And this must be old. Oh, that's weird. It won't let me select my spouse as a beneficiary. Okay, well, I guess I get no beneficiary. Oh, married. Well, stupid. There we go. All right. ACB holding up 12%. Holding up really nicely here, coming back down towards the open price, or at least it did a little bit ago. Could have a little bit of a reload. A little bit of profit taking. And we'll see what happens with that. What else do we got? Chesapeake Energy up about 4%. I'm thinking this thing's going to get back up into this channel. We'll see if my line holds true. I was kind of expecting it to go sideways a little bit, then curl up, similar to the way it did here. So we may ride that trend line a little bit. NVIDIA up 3%. This thing breaking out a little bit too. A little bit of a bull flag. You see the kind of sideways consolidation over the past couple of days. Bull flag continuation. Hopefully that continues. Match.com looking a little better here, trying to move towards that trend line. CGC within a symmetrical bull flag type of a pattern. Also in a bigger picture, basically a cup and handle. very, very deep cup and handle. Very deep cup and handle. But regardless, good volume on the right side. Nice cup action here, declining volume in the cup. And so this is looking really good. I like CGC. SIVB, doing okay. Not doing spectacular. Hacks, another one I was looking into. Had a big pullback. Already back a significant amount of the way there. Probably won't do anything with that. EDU. Cena getting up to that longer term trend line. Still have an alert level. That probably will be hit. NBEV back to negative territory. You piece of garbage. TTD down 1.67%, getting another little pullback. We'll see how that one plays out. What's Disney doing? Chopping around here. Yeah, Lori, I think I remember talking about you regarding going all in on CGC and Tilray. Yeah, tight stops. Very good. Very good. I'm glad you had tight stops. What's IQ doing? IQ still holding on to this flag. Not giving it up yet. Looks like it's... oh, look at that this morning. Having some nice volume on the way up and lower volume sell-off. Maybe just reloading for another opportunity. But they're definitely picking some up here. Was there news or something? Not really. Not really much news on IQ. But that one not looking too bad. NBEV moving lower, down 0.91%. Exited that trade, about a 4% stop loss, 5% stop loss on that, or stop on that one. Not bad at all. SIVB, looks like this one seeing better get on with the program. Otherwise, I'm cutting it loose too. Other than that, I don't have any major positions other than my triple Qs. Yeah, Laurie, no, having it all figured out is, I don't even have it all figured out yet. I've got a decent amount figured out, but I need to be a little quicker on my trigger. That's basically, and then trust my analysis in the end. Those are my two things that I've been, trusting my own analysis, I've been dealing with that for a very long time. But the trigger part has been one. Match is looking a little better. See what our volume's doing. 239 versus 1.4. And I can't tell much there. You know what? I'd probably have to add a volume moving average is probably what I'd have to do. Equities. There we go. Yeah, see those big pops really kick that volume up. Okay, so yesterday. So this morning we do have a little bit better volume than yesterday morning. At least I think if that average volume is correct, 16K, 23K. So it's still a little difficult to tell. And stocks are different than crypto, Lori. It's harder. I don't know. Stocks are they're just different. You have to play with them for a little while, really, to kind of get the feel for it. Something that I've realized is that things take time to develop. And if you're impatient, crypto's great because things change every 6 hours. It's a different market, like every 6 hours. In stocks, you only have 6 hours, and they take advantage. Like, look at this market. This has been downtrending for a month in Match.com, right? In crypto, that's like you've completely forgotten that EOS exists if it didn't run for a month. You're like, what's EOS? Oh yeah, that's EOS. You know, if it doesn't run for a month, it's over. In here, it's just a minor pullback. So it's a different time scale. Definitely a different time scale. Looks like if I draw this trend line a little bit lower, we have already potentially broken out of this pattern. So maybe match could be good for a bounce play here. Maybe. Let's look and see what's what. I have match on a pullback. Okay, so that's good. So usually in these, I like to just get it back to high. See, that's pretty good. The problem is I like to see higher volume, and I don't really have that here. And 36 days. Okay, I gotta re-hole punch my things here. Profit target. See, I just look for it to go to 60, which is right here. You know, it could rally past that, but I'm not trying to get super greedy. Yeah, see, match looks pretty good. There we go. Now we can see some volume. So average volume is declining in this. Oh, of course, these are probably starting to expire. Some of these over here. Yeah, the low caps are the most like crypto, I would say. Absolutely. What the fuck are you doing? There we go. Actually, I want to be noted. I want to be. This thing pops up a little bit. I want to be notified. So I'll move on. I'll keep that on Match.com, but I got a nice trade lined up. If that thing starts to show some volume, then I think I can get a little more interested in that. Chesapeake doing good up here, 3.82%. Getting on with that program. Illumina. Illumina is one that is. So see, this could be a turnaround play for you right here, Lori. These types of. See, this is not a small cap leader, and this is not going to give you 20% in a week, but may give you 20% in a few months if you're looking at straight stock. So, you know, you have these large uptrends. Illumina is definitely a leader in its industry. It's robotics and in surgery and medicine, and it's doing pretty good right there. Moving averages are kind of chopping around each other. So what you look for in these, and you kind of sometimes can get in ahead of time, is the moving averages to expand out 10-day above the 50-day, above the 200-day. That's ideally what you look for. You see those expansions, and what you end up with are these huge uptrends, like you see here right there where they started to expand. Then you start to see a huge uptrend. It's hard to get these very low areas down here, but when it pops up, consolidates for a bit, the moving averages start to diverge. That's really when good things start to happen. You get really long uptrends, and this is what a swing trader would really try to do, is take this entire move. I mean, really. And, you know, Boeing's another good example of that. You get these, I mean, just these big, and see, here's the thing with stocks that's, I don't know, like sometimes those longer term investors get it right in some senses, but wrong in other senses. When you hold on to extremely high quality stocks for longer periods of time, you do very well just, I mean, you can almost name a high quality stock and it's done well in the stock market. Just names that you know, like Boeing. You know, here's a great example. Going back almost any time frame except for 3 days ago, you know, you pretty much would be profitable in Boeing. You know, it's fairly extended up here, I guess, but you know, going back historically, like you look at Amazon, you know, that's been straight up. You look at, you know, Microsoft. You know, if you know anything about stocks and anything about kind of how what makes a good stock, then you can just pick a high quality name. Ubiquity, you know, another one that so this one, you know, you don't hold it for 3 years through negative. That's not what I'm referring to. But you know, if you pay attention and you have the right strategies, you can try to be involved in some of these for longer periods of time. And that's really what swing trading is. That's, I mean, really what swing trading is it's getting you the most of a stock that moves thousands of percent. I mean, Microsoft, we just saw Microsoft. That's a potential candidate. I mean, right now for kind of a swing trade. So you can see right there the moving averages converge. Now they're starting to diverge again. You've got the 50-day. See this blue line I'm highlighting? That's your 50-day. It's more volatile than that 200-day, and so it's going up. So this is going to start to diverge, and this could go into another prolonged uptrend. You know, it's real. Honestly, it's hard to see the market. It always feels like it's super high. The market always feels like it's super high, especially when you're looking in a situation like this into the future. Like, oh, this could be up here at 180. You're like, why would it go to 180? But you could argue back in 2015, back here, you're like, why would this thing go up to $114? You know, and granted, it took it a couple of years, but I mean, if you have this in a retirement account, you're not mad at doubling your money in 2 years. You know what I mean? You're just not mad at that. And from that kind of trading perspective, you know, that's just one perspective to have. Obviously, I'm looking at it a bit shorter term, but anyway, just to kind of give you a bit of a brief intro into stocks and kind of how you can play. You don't have to have a crypto perspective of taking profits within an hour. It doesn't have to play out like that. All right. So we got Adobe. This one looks like it has earnings coming up, 3/14. So tomorrow, and this one not wasting any time, trying to cross a buy point, decent volume, doing okay. NVIDIA continuing, good volumes coming into NVIDIA. Look at that. Lots of green volumes coming in here. Well, NBEV down 2% now. Oh. My goodness. PayPal up 2.67%. That should be a new high. Yes, it is. PayPal again. You know, I'm not sure if this thing will frozen rope on you, but yeah, that's not quite what I'm looking for there. Some of these though, if you get them on these pullbacks and then just kind of hold on to them, you can do pretty good. Arista Networks, Malicabra, Domino's Pizza. And there's Match.com pulling back a little bit, poked up and pulled back a little bit. Haven't quite been alerted yet on that one. NIO, ALK. Ooh, look at Alaska Airlines. That doesn't look very good. CLR. PKG. Yesterday I drew this trend line on PKG. And today it looks like it's crossing the trend line that I drew yesterday on PKG. Excellent volume here on PKG. A few pocket pivots, actually. There's a pocket pivot. There's quite a few pocket pivots here. I don't know why I didn't take this trade. I didn't take it, though. Where was I looking for? I think 105? 107? Yeah, see, that's pretty good at 107. That's really good at 107. If it can get up there, I should have taken that. Look at that. Nice pocket pivots. How did I talk myself out of this thing? I mean, great volume. Look at those 3 pocket pivots in a row. 1, 2, 3. This thing looks pretty good right there. So you have to get up to 10. What do I do at 105? 105 still pretty good. 104, 103. I mean, 103 is still pretty good. All right, I'm in PKG. I'm late to the party, but all right, just entered PKG. Should have got that stupid thing yesterday. Yes, Jake, you're crazy. Why would you short it? Like, seriously, spell it out. I want to challenge your thesis. You can challenge mine. But yes, you're crazy if you want to short the S&P 500 right now. I don't think it makes any sense. What's the reason? It's up too high? That's nothing. Oh, I want a thesis that's smarter than what my 4-year-old would say. I'm giving it to you hard now, aren't I? But I'm going to challenge you on that because I think that's a money-losing proposition. I don't want you to do that. When you have thoughts like that, I want you to challenge yourself. Like, what are the indicators that would get me into this? Like, what's the rationale? We've already, so we had these distribution days. We've already eclipsed those distribution days. We're already well above them on the NASDAQ. It's got to be at least 1-2%. Yeah, about at least 1% higher than all these distribution days. So, yeah, I would definitely challenge you on why you would do that. Definitely, I would challenge you. As the guy on this side of the microphone, that's my job, I feel, sometimes. Yeah, Lori, we've known about PKG for a long time. We actually followed, if you remember PKG over here back before the market crashed. We noticed this descending wedge, and then it just fell apart. I don't really buy out of lows like that. That's not really a thing that I do. I like to buy. See, this is a nice little pattern on the weekly chart there. Good pocket pivots on the right side. I mean, volume here is a little light, obviously, but you know what? I think that may have been my problem yesterday. I wasn't looking at this at the close. Look at where this volume came in yesterday. Right at the end of the day. Must be some dark pools playing in PKG because we've seen this a lot. Eli, you might remember when we were looking at PKG really closely. Yeah, Jake, that's not an argument. Just hold position for 1 to 2 days. That's an excuse, not an argument for shorting. I mean, if you think you say, hey, we're hitting this moving average. There's a divergence on the RSI. I'm seeing weakness in the MACD. Anytime my left knee hurts, the market goes lower. Give me something. Give me something other than just, hey, I'm going to gamble in this slot machine called the stock market, because that's what you're doing right now. What you're telling me is I have no argument. I just feel like shorting it and taking a gamble. I mean, what's your max gain on that gamble? That's the other thing. What's your risk versus reward? At least if you're going into a slot machine, if you're going to, let's say you do that trade and end up losing $37, right? Let's just say you lose $37. You can have much more fun with that $37 going to Vegas and putting that in a slot machine with a chance to win a $2 million jackpot than you can with the opportunity to make $37. Hard to explain. Okay, well, I like it, the fact you have a strategy. Can you give the Cliff Notes version? I can tell you my strategy is I look for small pullbacks, and then I look for breakouts on volume. But there's more to it than that. But that's my Cliff Notes version. So I'm sure you could do it in a sentence or two. Anywho, Chesapeake 3.65%, pulling back a little bit. 7:30. I'm gonna get out of here, guys, in a little bit. I'm gonna wait for Jake to tell me his strategy because I'm curious why he wants to short the S&P. And then I am also curious, what is your profit proposition on that? You know what? Let's look at some other ones. I just saw one on my watch list here. Fox F. Fox. Looking pretty good. Look at that nice shelf for the past couple of days, just holding very tight up here. We saw Fox moving the other day on decent volume. If you remember that from the day before yesterday, had a nice gap up. Getting on with the program here, not really pulling back. A little bit of a pause yesterday. Really looks like what I consider a test day. High IQ strats. I'm not sure what that means, Lori. High IQ. IQ is a stock. Strat is a crypto. That's where my mind goes when I see that. There's IQ. I don't think that's really doing much. It bounced back a little bit. Wall Street Bets Reddit. Just kidding. Is that a thing? Is that Wall Street with 2E? Yeah, Wall Street Bets. Discussion about day trading, stocks, futures, anything market related. Oh, that's cool. That's a pretty nice one right there. Ching, boing, boing. Get it, boing. Oh, that's awesome. I've got some good guys in the Slack chat room that post some good stuff. I'd say this one takes the cake, though. I think out of all of them, I've seen some cats. Actually, I've drawn a cat. We've seen Bart's. This one takes the cake. That's got to be the best one. I like that one a lot. That one's super fun. Jake has a high IQ strategy no one can understand. I'm not 200 IQ, but I've been tested at 135 for whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. I can understand a few things, but he's 200. Then you should just go to MIT and just go do some really fun stuff all the time. That's what I would do if I had a 200 IQ. I would just go live at MIT. You can probably just test in, and they'd give you a dorm room. They'd just be like, yeah, here you go. And stick you in the computer science security division. Never talk to you again. All right, I was looking at Match there. Yeah, Match doing pretty good. Match may do good here and turn around, start to break out of this. You can see here on the weekly Match, looking pretty good. General volume decline here. That's interesting. Don't see that often in stocks. Not a general volume decline. Anyway, guys, I got to get out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to bounce, take a look at PKG, take a look at some of these other ones we've talked about. FTNT looks really good. Potentially breaking out right there. We'll see if that can get going. Couple of good things. Yeah, if you want to, Jake, if you want to email me, randy@real-crypto.com. That's my email. Feel free to email me there I would like to hear about your strategy. I like hearing different people's strategies. I have a friend who I've known for years now, said he's now trading Forex. What's the student, not naked options, whatever he calls it. I forget what they call it. Oh, I got an ACB alert. Of course I got an ACB alert. Anyway, he's going to come over and explain his strategy. He said he's done really good in the past 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, come over and show me your strategy. So I like hearing different people's strategies. Always learn new things. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.